There's a valley where if you scream, you hear yourself answer back 7 times. Not once. Not twice. 7 distinct echoes, each one slightly different. Like the mountains are talking over each other, arguing about who gets to repeat you last. Visitors have recorded it on their phones and still don't believe what they're hearing, even while listening to their own voice bounce around them in a loop that shouldn't physically be possible. And it gets stranger. In certain spots inside this valley, 2 people standing just a few feet apart hear completely different things. One person hears a whisper crystal clear from someone standing 50 meters away. The other person standing right next to them hears nothing at all. Silence. Like the sound simply skipped over them and landed somewhere else entirely. This isn't a horror story. This is acoustics, physics, and geology colliding in one of the strangest natural sound environments on Earth. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this valley makes sound behave like it's alive. Now here's the part that's going to feel a little too familiar. Think about a conversation where you said something and it landed completely different than you meant it. The words were right, the message got twisted anyway. Or think about being in a crowded room, someone talking directly to you, and somehow you catch every word your friend whispers from across the space, while missing what's said right beside you. Sound doesn't always travel the way we expect it to. Neither does communication. Sometimes the exact same words hit 2 people in 2 completely different ways, and neither person is wrong. The environment just shaped it differently. That's exactly what's happening inside this valley. It's tucked into a mountain range where the shape of the land itself has turned sound into something unpredictable, something almost impossible to control. Locals have passed down stories about it for generations, warning travelers, half joking, half serious, that the valley talks back. And for a long time, that's all it was. A local legend. Until acousticians and geologists actually went in with equipment, and what they found made even the scientists pause. So what is actually causing this? Why does one scream turn into 7 echoes instead of 1? Why does sound seem to vanish in certain spots and amplify in others? Almost like the valley is choosing who gets to hear what. Let's break down what's really happening, because the explanation is one of the most fascinating things you'll learn about how sound behaves in the real world. Sound doesn't just travel in a straight line and disappear. It bounces. It reflects off hard surfaces, and depending on the shape, angle, and distance of those surfaces, those reflections arrive back at your ears at different times. Normally, in open spaces, those reflections happen so close together that your brain merges them into one single echo, or no noticeable echo at all. But inside a valley shaped like this one, with multiple rock faces set at different distances and different angles, each surface bounces the sound back separately. Your scream hits one cliff face and bounces back. Then it hits a second cliff further away and bounces back slightly later. Then a third, a fourth. Each reflection arriving at a slightly different moment, which your brain hears as separate, distinct echoes instead of one blurred repeat. That explains the 7 echoes. But the disappearing sound, the moments where sound seems to skip certain listeners entirely, that involves something called acoustic shadowing. Sound waves, especially higher-pitched ones, can be blocked or redirected by uneven terrain, rock outcrops, or shifts in air temperature and density. In certain valleys, temperature layers actually bend sound waves upward or downward, sending them curving through the air in ways that completely bypass listeners standing in what should be a perfectly normal spot. It's not magic. It's physics quietly performing something that feels magical. But here's the twist that changes how you look at this whole valley. Researchers studying this location discovered that ancient structures and settlements, in locations with similar acoustic properties around the world, weren't built there by accident. Some historians and archaeologists believe ancient communities specifically chose locations like this because of how sound traveled, using natural echo chambers for ceremonies, for long-distance communication, even for early warning systems, allowing a shout from one point to carry information across distances that should have been impossible without any tools at all. What feels like a spooky natural glitch today might have once been ancient technology, understood by communities who paid far closer attention to their environment than we do now. That's the moment this story flips from creepy phenomenon into something genuinely mind-blowing. This isn't sound behaving randomly. This is the landscape itself acting like a natural instrument. And some ancient humans figured out how to play it long before modern science understood why it worked. So here's what this story really leaves behind. Sound isn't as simple as we think it is. Neither is communication between people. The same words, the same voice, The same message can land completely differently depending on the space it travels through, the angles it bounces off, the invisible layers standing between the person speaking and the person listening. Maybe some misunderstandings in our own lives aren't about what was said at all. Maybe it's about the shape of the space the words had to travel through to reach us. The valley is still out there right now, quietly repeating every voice that dares to shout into it, still hiding pockets of silence right beside pockets that carry a whisper for 50 meters. A place where the rules of sound bend just enough to remind us how little we actually understand about the world whispering around us every single day. If this pulled you in, hit subscribe because there are more places like this hiding across the planet. Quiet corners of the world still holding on to secrets that science is only just beginning to explain.